So I think it's very unfortunate that we have what's happened in some of these cities and continues to happen in some of these suburbs. But it's not just law and order, it's really public safety. It's really about more generously resourcing and more deeply respecting those whose job it is to keep us all safe, who run toward the gunfire, who run toward into the burning buildings when we're told to run out of them and away from them. And I pray for the Blake family.
Your reaction to the NBA protest? They're not playing games last night. A lot of other professional athletes across the spectrum chose not to play as well to send a message about racial injustice. What's your reaction as a counselor to the president?
I don't have a reaction as counselor to the president.
What do you have as a personal? You're not affected. It's the biggest moment in sports activism in our lifetimes.
Right. So I'm watching that, and I discuss it with my children, but I don't have a public comment about it here at the White House.
Has the president talked to the family of
Is the president calling on his supporters in Kenosha, like people like Kyle Rittenhouse, to stop the violence?
The president wants everybody to stop the violence, and I know you're trying to conflate that individual with President Trump, and you really shouldn't do that. Just like CNN should have had a chyron last night that said mostly peaceful protest with fire in the background. So that's pretty offensive, Joe.
But what about vigilantes? Come on. I mean, what about people who are out in the streets, who are supporters of the president, supporters of the idea?
Why are you talking about who they may vote for this?
Well,
why are you trying to incite more trouble by saying that?
It's been documented that there are a number of groups that.
Should we talk about the lunatic who shot up Steve Scalise and a bunch of other members of Congress and staffers 3 years ago, this past June?
Or the guy who
went for hunting for. Well, you've talked about that plenty, but I don't ever hear you mentioning the other guy. Like, in other words, are we going to play this game where we look at who somebody supports or what color hat they wear to a rally and somehow make us all responsible? Because I can do that. I can talk about lots of people who have been guests on CNN, imbued with credibility and legitimacy.
Say, hey, I don't want my supporters participating in violence.
He doesn't want anybody to participate in violence. That's why he is calling for law and order, respecting the police, saying we're not going to defund the police ever. His vice president made that very clear yesterday. The president will make that clear tonight, most likely. And we defend the police, we don't defund the police. And by the way, this president doesn't want anybody to be violent. So that's very consistent. But you've got governors who, just couldn't get enough of everything we did for them with coronavirus, but they've got this under control. Do they? Do they have this under control? Doesn't look like it's under control.
Is it fair to say that you're saying vigilantes shouldn't be out in the street, patrolling the streets with guns if they're not police officers?
I'm saying that this is what the chief law enforcement officer in Kenosha, Wisconsin said. And he said, people want me to deputize civilians with firearms, and I'm not going to do that. But it would be nice if the governor accepted federal help the way he has on so many other scores. Anybody have a different question?
Has the president talked to the family of Jacob Blake?
I'm not aware of that.
Has the president watched the video of Jacob Blake?
I don't know.